ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यभागवतसेवया भागवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Welcome to this discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we will be completing taking the second half of the second chapter of the first canto, which is from shloka number 22 to shloka number 34. There are totally 34 shlokas in this second chapter. Let me share my screen. So there are totally 34 shlokas in this chapter. The 34th, and we have discussed about the two major questions, which is question number one: what is the absolute truth, absolute and ultimate good for people in general, and explain the essence of all scriptures. So these two questions we saw in our discussions. Now we will be getting into the answer to the question number three: why did Lord appear in the womb of Devaki as son of Vasudeva? So that one, as well as to describe the Lord's Purusha Avataras. Now, if you see the Canto 2, we have discussed about the unmotivated. So, what is the ultimate good for absolute and ultimate good for all people in general? It is unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service of the Lord. This we saw. And second question, explain the essence of all scriptures. So, the bhakti leads to uh, bhakti, which is essence of all scriptures, is the essence of all scriptures, and it leads to knowledge and detachment. Then we could see that Sutta Goswami is giving a progression of bhakti. So that is where we stop. Now, two things are still open, which is these two questions. These two questions answer. We will be seeing in chapter number 2. With this note, let us go to श्लोक नंबर 21. विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थश्चिद्यन्ते सर्वशङ्कयः क्ष्यन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट्वा एवात्मनीश्वरः. So the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive action is terminated when one sees the self as master. So with Supreme Personality of Godhead installed in our heart, Bhakti installed in our heart, so all sinful reactions are created, and this helps in overcoming the confusion of the material world and going back home, back to water. So that is what is explained till now. Now let us go to sloka number 22. Ato vai kavayo nityam bhaktim paramaya moda vasudeve bhagavati kurvanti atma prasad. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of God, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to self. So here, it doesn't mean that bhakti is something which is created now, but it is coming from time immemorial. So if you go to the shlokas here, so sadhana bhakti is void of difficulties because that is the key point which is being mentioned in this shloka. Because it gives great delight and it is enlivening to self. So you can see similar shloka in in Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. So if you see the shloka in Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 9. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttam Pratyakshavaham Dhan Shushukam Kartumave. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. So, bhakti is something which is very joyfully performed. It is not something which is very difficult to perform. That is why the essence here is sadhana bhakti is void of difficulties. So, if you see the purport of this shloka, okay, Prabhupada is mentioning that this knowledge is purest form of all activities as explained in Vedic literature. In Padma Purana, man's sinful activities have been analyzed and are shown to be results of sin after sin. Those who are engaged in fruitive activities are entangled in different stages and forms of sinful reaction. For instance, when the seed of a particular tree is sown, the tree does not appear immediately to grow. It takes some time. It is first a small sprouting plant, then it assumes the form of a tree, then it flowers and bears fruit, and when it is complete, the flowers and fruits are enjoyed by the person who has sown the seed of the tree. Similarly, a man performs a sinful act, and like a seed, it takes time to fructify. There are different stages. The sinful activity may have already stopped within the individual, but the results of the fruit of that sinful reaction are still to be enjoyed. There are sins which are still in the form of the seeds. There are others which are already fructified and are giving us fruit, which we are enjoying as distress and pain. These are the hard knot of fruitive activities which gets completely destroyed by following the process of bhakti. So here this is what is the aprarabdha phalam papam putam bijam phalonmukam krameneya pralite Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam. For those who are engaged in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, all sinful reaction, whether fructified in the stalk or in the form of a seed, gradually vanish. So therefore, purifying potential of devotional service is strong and it is pavitram uttam. That is what we saw in shloka number 9.2. So these are the fruitive activities which are destroyed when we take to bhakti. When we take to bhakti, all these are destroyed. When this gets destroyed, we automatically feel very happy in our heart and it is joyfully performed, it is void of any difficulties. Okay, so we'll go to the next shloka. So let us go to the PowerPoint here. So shloka number 23 to 29 focus on Krishna as the only object of worship. So this is something which we will be seeing. Shloka number 23 to 25 talk about Gunavtaras. Vishnu is to be worshipped. Goodness is the best. Then shloka number 26 to 27 reject demigod worship. Let us focus on 23 to 25. सर्वां रजस्तमहिति प्रकृतेर्गुणैस्तै युक्तपर पुरुष एक हेयस्य दत्ते स्थिति आदे हरिविरिञ्चि हरेति संज्ञांसि तत्र खलु सत्त्वतनोर्नृणां स्युः. The transcendental personality of God is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. Just for material creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts three qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of quality of goodness. So one thing that we need to understand here is that uh, these are masters of these gunas, passion, goodness, and ignorance. Shiva being the master of material mode of ignorance doesn't mean Lord Shiva is in mode of ignorance. Same way, Brahma is master of mode of passion doesn't mean that he is in mode of passion. So Brahma and Shiva are both actually the sampradaya. They are leaders of bona fide sampradayas. So they are Vaishnavas by themselves. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is telling Lord Krishna, by limited constituted devotional service, as explained above, is confirmed by the statement. So Lord Krishna and all his plenary parts are Vishnu Tattva or Lordship of the God. From Sri Krishna, the next manifestation of Baladeva, and from Baladeva Sankarshna, Sankarshna is Narayana, from Narayana, Sankar Sankarshna, and this Sankarshna, the Vishnu Purusha avatars are taken. Vishnu, or deity of quality of goodness in material world, is the Purusha avatar known as Shiroda Kashai Vishnu or Paramatma. Brahma is the deity of Rajas and Shiva of ignorance. They are three departmental heads of three qualities of material world. So, Prabhupada then elaborates the elaborates creation is made possible by Brahma's quality of passion and his endeavor. It is maintained by goodness of Vishnu, and when it requires, it is to be destroyed by Lord Shiva. It's by Tandava Nritya. So you can see these are all given here. So Prabhupada is telling here, concluding this, anyone that who wishes to get out of this prison house of material existence, which is full of miseries like repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease. So this is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. Lord Vishnu must please Lord Vishnu for liberation. Lord Vishnu is worshipped by devotional service only. So if anyone has to continue present life in material, he may ask for relative facilities for temporary relief from different demigods like Shiva, Brahma, Indra, Varuna. No demigod, however, can release imprisoned living being from conditioned life of material existence. This can be done only by Vishnu. Therefore, the ultimate benefit may be derived from Vishnu, the personality of God only. So this is a interesting note from this is very important because we need to know that demigod worship cannot help us get out of this problem of birth, death, and old age and disease. Therefore, we need to surrender to Krishna. Then, text number 24. Parthivar Narno Dhumas Tasmat Agnis त्रयीमयः तमसस्तु रजस्तस्मात् स्वत्वं यत् Brahma Darshanam. Firewood is a transformation of earth, but smoke is better than raw wood, and fire is still better, for by fire we can derive benefits of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifices. Similarly, passion, rajas, is better than ignorance, but goodness, sattva, is best because goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. So here, the three modes of material nature are discussed. So why sattva is important? That is explained here. It is a mistake, therefore, to consider worship of any quality or any form of supreme personality of God is equally beneficial. So, except Vishnu, all separated forms are manifested under conditions of material energy. Therefore, the forms of material energy cannot help anyone to rise to the platform of sattva, which alone can liberate a person from material bondage. So that is why it is important for us to uh, take, for us devotees, even sattva is not what recommended. For us, we need to go beyond sattva, which is Vishuddha sattva, which is purified goodness. Because in mode of goodness, there is a tendency to become overconfident or take to pride, and hence there is a possibility of falling down to lower modes. That is why we need to go to the Vaishnava platform, which is Vasudeva Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva. So here there is a qualitative difference between different kinds of worshipping methods as well as respective results derived from predominating deities, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Allah. So the worship of them is not the same. That is what Prabhupada is meaning. So demigod worship is different from worship of Vishnu. That is what Prabhupada is trying to bring in this purpose. Next, text number 25. Tejire Munayo Atagre Bhagavantam Adoksajam Satvam Vishuddha Shemaya Kalpante Ye Anutaniha. Previously, all great sages rendered service unto personality of God due to his existence above the three modes of nature. Vishuddha Sattva, Vishuddha Shemaya. They worship him to become free from material condition and derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authority is also eligible for liberation from material world. So, the purpose of performing religion is neither to profit by material gain nor to get simple knowledge of discerning matter from spirit. The purpose of uh, performing religion is to, therefore, directly, is to regain life of freedom in the transcendental world, where personality of God is supreme person. So, the laws of religion, which is enacted directly by personality of God and except from for the Mahajanas or authorization, no one knows the purpose of religion. So, what we need to do, there are 12 particular Mahajanas who are there, but our idea of religion is to get ourselves relieved from the clutches of material, like which is Janamriti Jara Vyadi, and go to the transcendental world. So, so there are 12 Mahajanas, and they have clearly defined what is Dharma. So, Dharma, as far as we are concerned, it is very quick for us to understand what is Dharma. Sarva Dharma Parityaja, Mamekam Sharanam Raja, Aham Tam Sarva Papebhya, Mokshasyani Masucha. So, surrender all varieties of religion and just surrender all, give up all varieties of religion and just surrender unto Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. When we do that, He will take us from all the sins. When He takes us away from all the sins, what happens? All our the possibility of taking birth again is completely destroyed. So now Prabhupada has given a simple formula for us. For us, who is the Mahajana? For us, Mahajana is Srila Prabhupada because he has given us the rules or sadhana bhakti, rules for the sadhana bhakti, which is getting up early in the morning, attending Mangalarti, following four regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds, taking prasada. When we do all this, we will soon come to the level where we'll be able to realize why we have to follow these activities in a systematic way. Though we are practicing this for a long time, our realization gradually improves over a period of time, and then we are able to understand the essence of bhakti. So bhakti, even when it is at a mature state, also it is a devotional service. And at the initial stage, also it is a service to Supreme Personality of God. So initially, we practice to purify ourselves, and in a purified state, our devotional service becomes much more elevated, and we are able to perform it without any hindrances. So this is very important for us to understand. So therefore, Prabhupada here is trying to bring out, in this particular chapter, is trying to bring out that bhakti is there, and bhakti can be done only for Supreme Personality of God and Vishnu Tattvas. So that is what is the main point in the last 4 5 shlokas. I will just go to the shloka content once again. So 23 to 25, we saw why Vishnu is to be worshipped. Now let us see shloka number 26 to 27. So the main conclusion here is that goodness is the best because only in goodness we will be able to come out of the material bondage. But as we progress in Srimad Bhagavatam, we will come to know that we need to go to the next level, which is Visuddha Sattva or Vasudeva Sattva. Now let us go to sloka number 26 and 27, where we reject the sadhana, where they reject the demigod worship. Mugushav Gor Rupan, Vitva Bhutan Pati Ata, Narayana Kala Shanta, Bhajanti Anasuyava. Anas, Anasuyava means non-envious. Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious, and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible, ghastly forms of demigods and worship only all blissful forms of Lord Vishnu is plenary portions. So it is very important that the forms that we are worshipping are Vishnu Tattva forms. Varaha is there, Nrsimhadev is there, then we have Vamana Rupa, then we have Ramachandra Murti, Parashurama. So we have multiple forms which we can which we can use, which we can seek as the personalities whom we can worship. However, for us, Prabhupada has given Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So they are the avatars in Kali Yuga to take the sinful souls from this material world in this Kali Yuga. And they have given us Harinam Sankirtan. So Krishna's name is not different from Krishna altogether. So chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 rounds every day helps us to directly associate with Krishna. So that way, that is the easiest form for us. By taking the shelter of holy name, we will not be committing any big offenses. So for us, it is easy to first approach Krishna by holy name as we progress in our devotional service. Then we can take up deity worship, and then we can see what type of deities are suitable for our what type of deities align with our tendency or uh, what type of service is available, which deity we need to serve so that the deity is properly taken care. Those are circumstances which will divert us. But for us, in this stage, we need to take shelter of holy name of the Lord. Now, Prabhupada is mentioning about separated parts and parcels have different positions and estimation, and some of them are like Kala Bhairava, Shamshana Bhairava, Shani, Mahakali, Chandika. These are all some Gora Rupas. Then qualified Brahmanas. We will see that in our temples there are qualified Brahmanas who are worshipping Saligram Shila. There is Govardhan Shila. Then we have Vishnu Murtis like Narasimha. Then we have Varahadev. So like that, we have multiple forms of Krishna, that is incarnation, which we can take or adapt to worship once we are becoming qualified for Brahma worship. When we become qualified Brahmas, we can take worship of these type of murtis. So here Prabhupada is mentioning one important part. The demigods being like other living entities in the material world are all liquidated at the time of annihilation of material structure. They are themselves unable to get liberation. And what to speak of giving liberation to their devotees. The demigods can award the worshippers some temporary benefit only, and not the ultimate one. It is for this reason only that candidates for liberation deliberately reject the worship of demigods, although they have no disrespect for them. For us, it is most important that we go back home, back to God. That is our original position. So when we are worshipping Lord Krishna, the main purpose there, when we are chanting His holy name, our main purpose is to go back home, back to God. And it doesn't mean we disrespect the demigods. We pay obeisances as agents of Supreme Personality of God. But for her, our deliverance, we need to worship only Krishna. We go to sloka number 27. Rajastamaha prakritayah samshila bhajanti vai pitrubhuta praje sadin sarvaishvara praje savaha. Those who are in mode of passion and ignorance perceive those in the same category, namely the forefathers, other living beings, and demigods who are in charge of cosmic activities. For their unseen desire to be materially benefited with women, wealth, power, and progeny. So, why do we worship this Prabhupada? No, in the this look tells why we worship the other category of what the objects of worship, namely the forefathers, the living beings, demigods. It is mainly for women, wealth, power, and progeny. All of these are very temporary manifestations. They will get destroyed as the time passes. Nothing in this world has remained stable. So uh, everything gets vanished over a period of time. So we as devotees of Krishna should not be focused on this. We should be focused on service to Lord. That is what is our main thing. There is no need to worship demigods or whatsoever category if one is serious about going back home back to God. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.2023, it is clearly said, those who are mad of the material enjoyment approach different demigods for temporary benefits. So these are all temporary benefits, which are meant for men with poor fund of knowledge. We should never desire to increase the depth of material enjoyment. So one should there are so demigods are but servants of the Lord. As such, they are duty bound to supply necessities of life in the form of water, light, etc. One should work hard and worship Supreme Lord, but fruits of one's hard labor for existence, and that should be the motto of life. One should be careful to execute occupational service with faith in God in a proper way, and that will lead one gradually on a progressive march. So this is a gradual method to go back home, back to whatever. The easiest one is taking to the bhakti, sadhana bhakti. So that is Bhagavata Dharma and no one else. There is only one level to be followed, one and by all, that is Bhagavata Dharma. This is Krishna consciousness. Text 28 and 29. So in this shloka that we just now discussed, we looked into reject demigod worship. So we saw Gunavtaras of Vishnu, and then we also saw the why we should reject demigod worship. And this Gunavtaras main focus was to look into the mode of goodness, because that only can help us go beyond liberation. A demigod worship is a mode of passion and ignorance. They help in getting women, wine, wealth, progeny, and so on. This is of no use. Now comes what is the essence of all creatures. So Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakaha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriyaha, Vasudeva Paramnyanam, Vasudeva Parantapa, Vasudeva Paradharmo, Vasudeva Paragatihi. Maka means sacrifice. Veda means revealed scriptures. Para means worship. Then Vasudeva Parayoga means mystic paraphernalia. Kriya means fruitive activities. Jnana means knowledge. Tapa means austerity. Then Dharma means Vasudeva. So what is goal of life? Vasudeva. So this shloka is the essence of all the object of knowledge. All the ultimate object of knowledge is what? That is what is written here. In the revealed scripture, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of God. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please Him. Yoga is for, so that is Maka, sacrifice. Then mystic paraphernalia is for realizing Him. Kriya is for ultimately rewarded by him only. All fruity activities are rewarded by him. Like, he is Param Jnana, he is severe austerities, Param Tapa, then he is Para Dharma, he is rendering loving service unto him. Paragati, he is the supreme goal of life. So we should be in mode of goodness, but mode of goodness is also not permanent. The next level is mode of passion and ignorance, which is demigod worship, which is not giving anything beyond this material world. But for us to get out of this birth, death, old age, and disease, we need to follow what is in the as ultimate as it is seen in all revealed scriptures, which is doing rendering devotional service unto Vasudeva. So that is what is we can see. That is the flow of thought here. So Prabhupada is giving explanation for all points, but in concluding, there is an important point which Prabhupada makes. In the prison house, there are prisoners and the managers of the prison house. Both managers and prisoners are bound by laws of the king. But even though king sometimes comes in the prison, he is not bound by the laws of prison house. King is therefore always transcendental to the laws of prison house. As the Lord is always transcendental to the laws of material world. So Krishna is the king. He is most powerful person. So he is not bound by the laws of material world. If we have to go out of this material world, only Krishna can help. The managers in the prison can give us help us to spend time in within the prison house, but they cannot help us come out of the prison. Only Krishna can do that. King can do that. Okay, so let us go to shloka number 30. Now the purpose of this shloka. So this shloka 31, 30, 31, 32, 33 answer the question number 4. Describe Lord's Purusha Avtaras. That is what will be explained now. Let us go to shloka number 30. स एवदं ससर्जाग्रे भगवान् आत्ममायया ससन् असद् रूपाय चासौ गुणमायो गुणो विभु. In the beginning of material creation, that absolute personality of God Vasudeva, in his transcendental position, created the energies and caused by his own internal energy. So this one is talking about the creation. This is since it is in the material world, this one is talking about the Maya, which is there in the this world, material world. Taya vilase tisva eshu guneshu gunavaniva anta pravishta abhati vijnanena vijrambitaha. After creating the material substances, Lord Vasudeva expands himself and enters into it. And although he is within the material modes of nature and appears to be of one of the created beings, he is always fully enlightened in this transcendental position. We go to the next one. यथा हि आरोहितो वह्नि दारुष्व एक स्व योनिषु ज्ञानेव भाति विश्वात्मा भूतेषु च तथा पुमान्. The Lord, as a super soul, pervades all things, just as fire permeates wood. And so he appears to be many varieties, though he is the absolute one without the second. We'll take the next shloka also. Aso gunamaya bhavai bhute bhuta sukshmendriyatmavihi swat nirmiteshu nirvishka bhunte bhuteshu tatguna. The super soul enters into the bodies of created beings who are influenced by modes of material nature and causes them to enjoy the effects of these modes of by subtle mind. Okay, so now this sloka is talking about the Paramatma feature which is there in everybody's heart. If we go to sloka number 32, this is the Shiroda the super soul who is there in every living entity. It permeates every living, non-moving and non-moving entities within the material world. And text number 31, after creating the material subsistence, the Lord expands himself and enters into it. And although he is within the material modes, so this is talking about the Mahavishnu and Garbhoda Gashaya Vishnu. So let us go to the presentation. So here you can see that this is Vasudeva Krishna. So this is Vasudeva Krishna, and this is Habod. Just going a little bit detail into it. So here you see that um, the entire creation. So the entire creation is falling into two parts. This is spiritual world. This is material world. So if you go to the spiritual world, so here this is the material world. Here we have spiritual world. So the center. So spiritual world is called as Tripada Vibhuti and material world is called as Ekapada Vibhuti. The spiritual world, in the spiritual world, the topmost planet is Goloka Vrindavan and surrounding that is Jagannath and Mayapur and Navadvip. And slightly outside that is Mathura and then we have Dwaraka. And outside that is Ayodhya. This is Ayodhya Dham. And then after we come across Ayodhya, then we have Aishwarya Loka, Aishwarya Dham. So Aishwarya Loka, and in Aishwarya Loka, you can see this Lord is sitting here, and here we have all the Narayana expansions. All Narayana expansions are there. Then when we come a little bit below, we have this Brahma Jyoti, which is the light from the Vaikuntha planets, which is once again emanated by the Supreme Personality of God, Govinda. He is the center here. From him comes all the light. And then Mahavishnu. So here we have Viraja river, which is separating the spiritual world from the material world. In the material world, Karana ocean is there. So the Supreme Lord Vasudeva is entering into the material world. So he enters in his two forms. One is Mahavishnu, who is here, like this. And Mahavishnu is sleeping like this. And from his bodily force, millions of universes come out. Millions of universes. So this is Anda. Anda means globule or globe. It is golden and golden globules which are floating in this huge ocean. And if you see this one single uh, globule or anda, in that we have Garbhodaka Vishnu, who is sleeping in the Garbhodaka ocean. And from his navel, the lotus stems, and this is Brahma, who is sitting on the lotus flower. And on this lotus stem only, we have all the um, lokas like Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Then this is Bhuloka, Earth. Then Bhuva, Suva, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satyam. These are all the lokas. So Kailasha is here. This is Devi Dham. So Durga Devi is the presiding deity. This is Shiroda Kashai Vishnu, who is in the Shweta Deep. So whenever there are problems in this material world, all devatas will approach this Supreme Personality of God in the Shweta Deep, and he is sitting there along with Lakshmi Mata. So here, this is Garbhodaga Shai Vishnu. Sita, Lakshmi Mata is pressing his lotus feet, and here we can see the navel of, from the Lord's navel, we have Lord Brahma coming out. So this is what is described in the shloka number 30, 31. Let's go to the shloka. So shloka number 30 talks about Karanadagashai Vishnu. Shloka number 31 talks about Garbhodagashai Vishnu and Shirodakashai Vishnu. Shloka number 32 talks about super soul which pervades all the things in this material world. So this is the super soul that pervades in all world, and then super soul enters the body of living entities and tries to fulfill their desires. So these four shlokas are talking about the Purusha avatars. Now let us once again review the shlokas. So 31. 31 is talking about Kaya Vilasitesha Eshu Guneshu Gunavaniva Anta Pravishta Abhati Vijnanena Vijrambhita. After creating the material substance, Lord Vasudeva expands himself and enters into it. So Lord Vasudeva, who is residing in spiritual world, enters into the material creation. So although he is within material modes of nature and appear to be created, he is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. So though he is within the material world, this Karnodaka Sai Vishnu is always aloof from the material position. That is what is told here. I'll go to the next sloka. So this one is talking about Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu and Shirodaka Sai Vishnu. Yatahi avahito vahani darushka eka sva yonishu naneva bhati vishvatma bhuteshu cha tatvama. The Lord, as super soul, pervades all things just as firewood permeates wood. And so he appears to be of many varieties, though he is the absolute one without the second. असो गुणमयैर्भावे भूत सूक्ष्मेन्द्रियात्मभिः स्वनिर्मिच्छेषु निर्मिच्छो भुङ्क्ते भूतेषु तद्गुणा. So the super soul enters the body of the created beings who are influenced by the modes of material nature. So the sloka number 32 is talking about the Paramatma which enters into the material world, living and non-living both. And shloka number 33 talks about the the Paramatma who is trying to fulfill, who acts as a Upadrishta Hanumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. So he is the sanctioner of all the desires of the living entities. Let us go to shloka number 31 once again. So after creating the material substance, so this material substance here is referring to the golden globules and Lord Vasudeva who expands, so Lord himself and enters into it. So he is entering into each one of the golden globules, and although he is within the material modes, so from him only we have Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, who are the leaders of the material modes of nature. And so this talks about the Shirodakashai Vishnu and Garbhodakashai Vishnu. Let us go to the shloka number 30. Sar Evedam Sasar Jagre Bhagavan Atma Maya Sat Asad Rupaya Chaso Gunama Yoguna Vibhu. In the beginning of the material creation. So this is the Mahavishnu. In this transcendental created the energies of cause and effect by his own internal energy. So this is talking about the first creation, which is Mahavishnu. So we now saw that in today's class, till now we have seen the bhakti is very important, and it is the easiest one. Then we saw three important things. One is sattva helps us to get liberated from the mode of from the bondage. Second, we saw that passion and ignorance can give only material things, so we cannot get out of this material world. Then we saw the third most important thing, that we need the essence of all vivid scripture is to surrender to Vasudeva. So we need to surrender and engage in service to him. So all revealed scriptures point to serving Vasudeva. That is what we saw. And then we looked into the question number 4, the Purusha Avtaras, not Purusha Avtara, we saw, Purusha Avtara, which is Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Shirodakashayi Vishnu. Shirodakashayi Vishnu is entering into the hearts of every living entity. That is there. We are now. Let us go to shloka number 34. भावायति एष सत्त्वेन लोकान् मे लोकभावनः लीला अवतारो अनुरतो देवान् दिव्यान् नरादिषु. Thus, Lord of the universe maintains all planets inhabited by demigods, men and lower animals, assuming the roles of incarnation. He performs pastimes to reclaim those in mode of pure goodness. Naradishu. So why did Lord Krishna appear in the womb of Devaki as son of Vasudeva? He comes to enact his pastimes to deliver the souls. That is what is told in shloka number 34. So the shloka number 34 is also elaborated by Sridhar Swami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. So they are talking about two shlokas, 1.8. भवे अस्मिन् क्लिश्यमानानाम् अविद्या कामकर्मभिः श्रवणस्मरणानि करिष्ये इति केचन. I think let us go to the shloka so that it is only 3-5. Bhave asmin krishyamana. So this comes in prayers between Kunti and Parikshit Maharaj being saved. And yet others, Shravana, Avidya Kama Karma Shravana, Smarana, Arhami, Karishyan iti Kechana. For hearing, remembering, and worshiping may perform thus. And yet others say that you appeared for sake of rejuvenating the devotional service of hearing, remembering, and worshipping, and so on, in order that conditioned souls suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. So this is one of the answer. The other answer is why Lord is born. 10:8:49. चातयो न महादेवे भुवि विश्वेश्वरो अरो भक्तिर्यत् परं लोके ययाग्नो दुर्गतिं करे. After we two have taken birth, both husband and wife, as Drona and Dara, Mahadevi in the supreme person, the supreme personality of God, Bhuvi on the earth, Vishwa Ishvare in the master of all the planetary system, Arav in the supreme Lord, Bhakti, devotional service, will be spread. Parama, ultimate goal of life, Loke in the world, Yaya, by which Angaha very easily, Durgati is the world life, and one can avoid and be capable. These are nothing but Vasudeva and Devaki in one of the previous birth. Please permit us to be born on this planet so that after our appearance, the Supreme Lord, the personality of God, the Supreme Controller and Master of all, Vishwa Ishvare, will also appear and spread a devotional service, which is the ultimate goal of life. so that those born in this material world may very easily be delivered from the miserable conditions of material life by accepting devotional service. So we can see two main reasons of Lord appearing uh, as son of Devaki and Vasudeva. One is to deliver the soul by introducing devotional service, and other one is to rejuvenate the devotional service. So um, one inspiration we take from teachings of songs, from the Kunti's prayers, and other one we take from the chapter in the 10th canto, which is Lord Krishna shows universal form within his mouth. So these two shlokas help us to understand why Lord Krishna appears as son of Devaki and Vasudeva. The other thing that he is doing, the direct answer. So there is no mention of devotional service in shloka number 34 in this chapter, but it is pointing here that Lord of the universes um, assume roles of incarnations to reclaim those in mode of goodness. How they come to pure goodness? By practicing devotional service, which for which reason Lord comes once again to the material world. So there is a very good shloka in Bhagavad Gita relating to this shloka number 9. Janma karma cha me divya evam yo veti tatvata tattadevam punarjanma naiti mameti so arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains to my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So, Lord Krishna comes to deliver us from this material world. And how does he do? He helps us to move to situation of pure goodness. How does it happen? By practice of devotional service, which is hearing, chanting, and remembering Lord Krishna, which is given in King Kunti's prayer here. Hearing, remembering, and observing. The nine modes, the nine different ways of devotional service. So before we end this class, let us summarize. So in this chapter, there are 34 shlokas. In shloka number 1 to 7, Sutta Goswami replies to question number 1 and 2, which is what is the absolute and ultimate good for people in the world, which is the devotional service. Essence of all scriptures is devotional service. So that is answered in shloka number 1 to 7. And then, and in, and just a moment. And then shloka number 8 to 15, all our activities, varnashrama activities are all diverted only for bhakti. So varnashrama dharma should not be taken for material gain, but we should focus on bhakti. Then we saw bhakti progression, how it helps us to move from neophyte stage to the highest elevated stage. Here we looked into the um, two different methods. One is the 14 stage bhakti given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, and another one from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is also there in Nectar of Devotion of Rupa Goswami. The entire process of stage by stage process of bhakti. So we try to relate the glory of bhakti to these two shlokas, which because this is something which we follow in our day-to-day sadhana bhakti. So that we saw. Then we'll go back to the summary slide. Then we saw Krishna is the object of worship. Why Krishna is the object of worship? So mode of goodness can come to the level of liberation, but we need to go to the personal approach to our Lord in his personal form, Vasudeva form. So for that, what we need to do? So moving to ignorance and passion is of no use because it will restrict us to material enjoyment and we will remain in this material world. This all temporary. Then we can go to the next level, which is Vasudeva. Why? Because Vasudeva is who has referred in all the scriptures. So therefore, Krishna is the object of our worship. So Krishna is the object of worship, and to reclaim us, what he is doing to fulfill our desires, he is creating this material world, and to manage this material world, Lord enters enters this from the material world, from the spiritual world into the material world as Mahavishnu, and then from his bodily pores, multiple golden globules emanate, and in each of the golden globules, we have Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is the source of the guna taras within the material world, and Shirodakashayi Vishnu, who is the management head of the mode of goodness, enters into living and non-living entities, and he enters into the heart of everyone to fulfill the desires. However, the Lord incarnates to reclaim the souls, and we saw two different references, one from 10th canto, 8th chapter, where Krishna is showing the universal form to Mother Yashoda, that chapter. And we see that Lord Krishna is coming to this material world to bring the process of devotional service. And in Kunti's prayer, she says that Lord appears to rejuvenate the process of bhakti. So till now, we have answered these four questions. We will look into the questions 5 and 6 in our next class. So please stay tuned. Stay tuned to this discussion. We will have much more things to discuss as we go forward. Thank you very much. पाञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय गौर भक्तवृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि 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 बोल हरि हरे कृष्णा